Okay, we're live. It's 5 Minute Friday. It's Friday, November 18th. I'm Zach Storms. I'm your host today. I'm one of the co-founders of Startup TNT, calling in from Edmonton. We host 5 Minute Friday every single week to get to know some of the great entrepreneurs from our community, learn a little bit about them, learn a little bit about their journey, and maybe share some wisdom for the rest of us. And today, I'm really excited to have Morẹ from Kemet on the show. How you doing, Morẹ?
I'm doing so good, and your level of energy, my gosh, I'm catching the energy.
Well, I'm trying to keep up with the energy of your new hairstyle. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened there before we do the proper interview?
I like to say I'm channeling my inner wisdom, and I'm also channeling Storm.
That's right. Prepped and ready to go just for today.
This is channeling Storm for storms.
All right. Well, on that note, let's get this interview officially started. I've got an actual timer here. We'll try and keep to 5 minutes. But you know what? As host, I do have executive permission to make the decision that we can talk for longer than 5 minutes. So let's go here. 5 minutes on the clock. Tell us, what is your name and job title?
My name is Morẹ, nikẹ, Ẹniọlá Ọláòṣebìkan, and I'm the CEO and founder of Kemet Advanced Manufacturing, Kemet Group of Companies, which also includes a few other organizations at this point.
That's amazing. You're an international woman with an international conglomerate already as your startup. I love it. Morẹ,
the startup conglomerate.
Tell us about how you got started as an entrepreneur. How did you come about launching Kemet?
Well, I suppose it's a childhood dream, actually. So it's this big ambition or desire to solve a problem for Africans and African countries. That's been a lifelong passion of mine, understanding that our health and well-being are not equitable with others, and having always questioned that, having always been curious about that. So I've launched a lot of businesses along the way around health equity. And so Kemet is the newest iteration of that. And so it really started from this place of passion of wanting people of African descent to have equitable access to health, equitable access to drugs, seeing that there are drug shortages globally, even in Canada, and exploring how my talents can be applied to solve that global problem.
That's amazing, Morẹ. So tell us a little bit more about what Kemet actually does to address this health equity, the global health equity. I mean, I experienced it in a very small way, trying to get some cough medicine this week and finding a bunch of empty shelves.
So specifically, Kemet started out as this concept I had for transportable drug manufacturing facilities. So miniaturized, a factory in a box, we call them. So it's an engineering solution that's modular, it's scalable, it's digitally interconnected. To use the buzzwords we use in tech, Industry 4.0 for drugs. And I couldn't raise the money for it. It was going to cost $6 million to build that first factory. And so what I decided to do was make $6 million.
Hey.
And so
that's an entrepreneurial approach right there. I love it. Okay, keep going.
So I built a lab, and the lab is at the Edmonton Research Park, where we make drugs in a process called compounding. And so what you have is this lab that compounds drugs and distributes it across the province. It's a proof of concept for this idea of we can make drugs on demand in a small footprint facility, and we can digitally interconnect drug making facilities like this to resolve drug insecurity. And that's proving out to actually be the case. So with Tylenol and Advil, Gravol, amoxicillin, all these shortages that Canadians are now experiencing in the media, because it's always been the case. It's a decade-long problem for Canadians too. But I think COVID has made it really come to the forefront more and more. And the lab is helping. It's contributing to resolving these shortages by making them, by focusing our business model around how do we do that effectively, efficiently, affordably, and how do we take the lessons learned from that into the transportable facility. So then from there was the software we developed. So we also have software that's connecting labs to pharmacies. That's also scaled now across the country into 3 provinces, and 2 other provinces are on a wait list, as an approach to digitally interconnect drug makers to drug buyers.
So you've got basically a lab running right now in Edmonton that's doing compounding, that's kind of like a bit of a test case for when you could turn this into a modular system and do it at remote locations in places like Africa. And then you've also got a software that connects it all.
Exactly.
So how big is your operation right now, Morẹ, nikẹ, here in Edmonton?
So in terms of people, we have 5 people employed in the lab. We have 2 employed with the software. And the factory that we want to build is we don't really have employees, but we have a total of 18 contractors on different types of short-term contracts to help me with our front-end engineering design and all the steps we need before we are operational.
And where is it located physically?
The lab is located at the Edmonton Research Park, and we also run the software company out of the same location. The factory, we're aiming to locate that at the Edmonton International Airport next year in January.
And so when you say the factory, would that be like an actual test version of your modular factory?
Yes, so we have had the opportunity to actually pull architectural designs together. There's animation of our architectural designs, but not yet the engineering designs for it. And it's 32 shipping containers. So it's a bit of a misnomer calling it a factory in a box. When I started out, it was a factory in a box. When we got the engineers involved, it stopped being a work of art and it started becoming 32 shipping containers. So it's 32 shipping containers. It's 3,000 square foot on one level and 3,000 square foot on the next level. So it's still small, but it's not
an easy to assemble factory in a few boxes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah. It broke my heart. It broke my heart, Zach.
Well, so what's your timeline here to try and get the factory actually operating in the field?
I'm really optimistic that by August next year, we'll have the first structure built at the Edmonton International Airport. What I'm not sure of is if we would have the resources. I hope we attract the resources that we need to hire people to make that operational, and then by the next year have the licenses we need to be able to make our first drugs in the facility.
Okay, listen, I want to ask this other question on a slightly different topic now. I know that you've done a lot of work in the African community here in Edmonton with a few not-for-profits that you've actually launched yourself. So you're really a social entrepreneur as well. And this particular company, Kemet, actually has like a very noble social mission as part of it. Tell us a little bit about the decision to make this a for-profit company rather than a not-for-profit.
Oh, there are parts of my social impact bottom line that have to do with economic development, infrastructure and innovation, meaningful employment, gender equality, eliminating inequality. And these particular economic goals and innovation and science goals just require, I believe, a profitable approach, because I see that in many developing countries, one of the biggest ways that we remain inequitable is the absence of a manufacturing sector across the continent. And I also see that many really smart people aren't gainfully employed in a way that increases the nation's GDP. So you have macro level forces like people not making enough money in a way that sustains their own country, that balances the trade for their own country. So you can give as much foreign aid as you want, you can be as philanthropic as you want, and those core infrastructural problems are not addressed in the charitable sector. So to me, it was really important that as we scale and we develop trade internationally, that these countries actually have a paradigm shift that supports their economic well-being.
Yeah, hey, I love it. Great answer, Morẹ, nikẹ. Okay, I think I want to ask like maybe 2 more questions. Are you raising money for this project in the next 12 months?
Oh, 12 months is a good timeline. So in the next 4 months, I don't think so. Perhaps at the end of next year or closing in on the end of next year, I might have another round. There is there is a chance that the traction I now have gets me to a place that the purchase orders I get, I hope I'm not being naive and I hope it's not entrepreneurial hubris, but I think the purchase orders I'll get might actually remove the need to raise money. If I will raise, I think it would be the end of next year.
Okay. Well, hey, I can't forego an opportunity to give a plug to Startup TNT Investment Summit. We just wrapped up one last night, Morẹ, nikẹ. We'd love to see you pitch at one in the future if you're raising money for KeyMet. I know you participated one time in the past. You've come a long way since then, and I'd love to see the Edmonton investment community supporting companies like yours solving big global challenges.
I think there are other ways for Startup TNT Network to support us. You have a lot of physicians, pharmacists, nurse practitioners, prescribers in your network. Joining us, it could involve going on keymet.group and actually signing up to support in other ways, like be a prescriber, attract patients, attract pharmacies to our platform, attract customers to our platform, become a customer of our platform. Those are other ways that you can support us as well.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Morẹ, nikẹ. And okay, final question. I think you represent a bit of an inspiration for a lot of people that are out there looking at themselves thinking, can I start a company like Morẹ, nikẹ just did? And what advice or thoughts would you like to share with those people out there listening right now?
I think it's really important to embrace your ineptitude and your incompetence and just roll with it.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone give that advice. That's amazing. Embrace your ineptitude and roll with it. That's part of being an entrepreneur for sure.
Oh my God. I think like the number of failures that we're going to have, the humility we have to be real with ourselves, to not blame our failures on other people or other things or other circumstances, and just look at what is the lesson in this? What is this here to teach me? And really be real with ourselves. I think the biggest hindrance, I think, to growth is the dishonesty we tend to have with ourselves, where we don't want to be real with ourselves. So there are ways that you're very clever, you're very resourced, you're very, networked. And then there are ways that you fall short. And I think being able to embrace that and grow with it is really important with entrepreneurship. So go for it. I think you take the first step, you go for it, you get punched in the face, you learn, and next time you don't get punched in the face in that way, you get punched in the face in a different way, and you just keep learning.
You get used to taking the punches.
Yeah.
Listen, Morẹ, nikẹ, I think I'm in danger of having to rename the show to like 12-Minute Friday if we don't have to call now. This has been an absolute blast. Loved having you. I know it's your birthday weekend. You're celebrating in Jasper. Thanks for putting aside some time for us today. And everybody listening, if you'd like to meet more great entrepreneurs like Morẹ, nikẹ, join us at one of our happy hours happening every single Thursday. Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatoon, and now Winnipeg, Manitoba has joined us. And have some fun, make some friends, build companies. Thanks so much, Morẹ, nikẹ. Have a good weekend.
Thanks so much, Zach. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.